going over for what is deserved the winning try and retaining Rugby World Cup.
Still the kings of World Rugby. Is this the greatest ever era, even for New Zealand?
Now, what defines a golden age? Is it an unrivaled string of victories, a generation of players who reinvent the game, or is it a collective spirit that unites a nation? Well, it's all of the above. From the historic rivalries to the aura of the haka, this is the story of the golden age of the All Blacks. Leading up to the 2007 World Cup, the All Blacks were in fine form, winning 18 of their previous 20 Test matches, and hopes were high across the nation. Placed in a pool with Italy, Portugal, Romania and Scotland, the ABs enjoyed the privilege of rotating players against easily beatable opposition. This, however, would later prove to be problematic. Not knowing his best 15, Graham Henry approached the quarter-final against France with some key absences. These included Aaron Major, Doug Howlett and Greg Somerville, who didn't even make the matchday 22, as well as Locke Chris Jack, who glumly sat on the bench. France's game plan centred on disrupting New Zealand's rhythm. No surprises there, folks. They employed a high-pressure defence, rushing up quickly to stifle the All Blacks' attack and force errors. This aggressive approach was complemented by strategic kicking, pinning New Zealand back and challenging their back three. In attack, France utilised their typical quick ball movement and offloading to keep the All Blacks guessing. They also targeted New Zealand's line-out, a traditionally strong area for the All Blacks. The French went on to win the game 2018, shattering the hearts of an expectant nation. This loss, dubbed the debacle by the New Zealand media, marked the first time the All Blacks failed to reach the World Cup semis. Sir Graham Henry said of the debacle, "You learn much more from adversity than you do success, and it changed my life, changed how I coached, changed how I conducted myself as an individual."
There's a lot of people being affected by this, families, wives, partners, kids who are devastated. We will be scarred for the rest of our lives, and I mean that.
But from the ashes of this defeat, a phoenix would rise wearing all black, stronger, more determined and destined for greatness. The New Zealand Rugby Union knew change was needed. They appointed Graham Henry, Steve Hansen and Wayne Smith, a dream team of tactical minds. Their mission? To overhaul every aspect of All Blacks rugby. The transformation was brutal yet beautiful. Out went the old playbook and in came a new flexible style. The forwards became more mobile, the backs more unpredictable, and every player from 1 to 23 had to be a decision maker on the field. Mental preparation became paramount. Sports psychologists were brought in particular Gilbert Inoka, one of the longest serving All Black representatives, teaching the team to thrive under pressure.
My main area of responsibility is in equipping the players with the skill sets to be able to perform under pressure. So when everything's on the line and they've got to strut their stuff, it's the skills that I have to educate them with to enable them to do that job.
The infamous chokers tag that had haunted them, they were determined to shed it. To say the All Blacks were devastated by the 2007 loss was an understatement. The All Blacks were ready to move forward.
The All Blacks were being called chokers. How fair was that?
People said, yep, you're the number one team in the world, everyone can see that, but you haven't won a World Cup. And you can't argue with that because that was the truth. People will say that. I struggle to say that.
The word chokers?
Yeah, exactly.
Player selection strategy shifted. Versatility became key. The likes of Richie McCaw and double international Brad Thorne, who played rugby league for the Australian Kangaroos, weren't just selected for their positions, but for their leadership on and off the field. But perhaps the most profound change was in team culture. The All Blacks didn't just play for their country, they had to embody it. The haka became more than a pre-match ritual, it was a statement of intent. Now, one of the key tactical evolutions during this period was the emphasis on structured play combined with dynamic counter-attacks. The All Blacks perfected their ability to transition from defence to attack in an instant, turning opposition mistakes into scoring opportunities. Their ruck and breakdown dominance, bolstered by the tireless efforts of Mad Dog McCaw, allowed them to control the pace of the game and starve their opponents of possession. While on the tight phases, you had Brodie Retallick and Sam Whitelock as custodians. This, combined with the Wayne Smith-designed Razor defence, which focused on aggressive ball retrieval, ensured a fully transformed New Zealand team. This strategy was supported by a refined kicking game orchestrated by the outstanding Dan Carter, whose pinpoint accuracy ensured territorial advantage. Now, the 2008 Tri-Nations tournament was an early indication that the All Blacks were rebuilding effectively. They secured the title with decisive wins over South Africa and Australia, showcasing their emerging dominance. In 2010, they achieved a rare Grand Slam tour of the home nations, defeating England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales with commanding performances that highlighted their adaptability to varying conditions and opposition styles, based off the powerful front row of Woodcock, Nialamu and Franks. Player statistics during this era underscored the All Blacks' dominance. Dan Carter, the fly-half maestro, became the highest scorer in Test rugby history with 1,598 points, cementing his legacy.
An attacking territory for the All Blacks, and they get try number 3. So they went wide from that line out, not through the middle or not in close. They went.
Richie McCaw, whose unmatched work rate and leadership inspired his teammates, was named IRB Player of the Year in 2009 and 2010. Additionally, the rise of younger talents such as Kieran Reid and Israel Dagg further strengthened the team's depth, providing a seamless blend of experience and youthful exuberance. To further show that the ABs were on the right track, they asserted brutal dominance in the Bledisloe Cup. Under the captaincy of McCaw and guided by coach Graham Henry, the All Blacks showcased a blend of relentless physicality, tactical brilliance and unmatched skill. From 2008, they claimed 3 Bledisloe Cups in a row, often in emphatic fashion, with commanding performances. Their ability to adapt and excel under pressure was exemplified by thrilling comebacks and high-scoring displays, solidifying their supremacy. During this era, the All Blacks not only dominated their closest foes, but also set the standard for excellence in World Rugby. By the 2011 RWC, the All Blacks were a well-oiled machine, ready to rewrite their story on the global stage. Their dominance between 2008 and 2011 set the foundation for what would become one of the most iconic moments in rugby history. Let's break it down. The All Blacks' 2011 Rugby World Cup campaign was a testament to their skill, resilience and determination. Starting off their pool play, they would get the difficult news that they would be without key man Dan Carter for the rest of the tournament, having suffered a groin injury during their final practice before pool play. This was going to be his pinnacle and it's devastating for him, coach Graham Henry said. However, this was a new All Blacks team that had the strength to pull through even without DC on the field. Dominating the group stage with impressive wins, including a 37-17 revenge victory over France.
Gania, McCaw just smothers him. He read it brilliantly, Richie McCaw. He sensed the turnover. Then a call from the All Black forward to turn it on.
Oh, gee, I tell you what.
With a gritty semi-final win against the Wallabies, the team showcased their prowess at every turn. Eden Park, Auckland, the spiritual home of New Zealand rugby, set the stage for the epic final. The weight of a 24-year World Cup drought hung heavy in the air. In the final against France, they employed a disciplined defence and a tactical kicking game to secure an 8-7 victory. Led by their resilient captain McCaw, who unbelievably played in the tournament with a fractured metatarsal, their forward pack maintained composure under pressure, while Stephen Donald's decisive penalty kick clinched the win. With a focus on disciplined play and precise execution, the All Blacks claimed their first World Cup title in 24 years. As the All Blacks lifted the Webb Elli Cup, a collective roar of joy and relief echoed across the nation. The ghosts of 2007 were finally laid to rest.
But it's our sport. It's our national sport. And tonight we can truly say we are the best in the world at it. But even more than that, we had the world here to play our national sport in our country. And it's been a great few weeks. And I know it is just a game, but what a game it's been. What a game it's been.
If 2011 was about redemption, 2013 was about dominance. The All Blacks achieved what many thought impossible, a perfect season. 14 tests, 14 victories. From the frost-bitten fields of Europe to the sun-baked pitches of the Southern Hemisphere, the men in black were unstoppable. Key victories included a nail-biting win over South Africa in Ellis Park, a thrilling showcase of physicality and skill, and dominant performances against traditional rivals like Australia and England. Stars like Kieran Reid, who was later named World Rugby Player of the Year, and Julian Savea, who was prolific on the wing, were instrumental in the team's success. The rugby world watched in awe as the All Blacks redefined excellence. The 2015 Rugby World Cup in England presented a new challenge. Could the All Blacks become the first team to win back-to-back World Cups? The journey to the final was fraught with drama, including a hard-fought quarter-final against France, a 62-13 victory that felt like full redemption for 2007, and a rain-soaked semi-final thriller against the Boks.
New Zealand, the first team to make it to 4 World Cup finals. They had to fight every inch of the way.
In the final, New Zealand faced the Wallabies in the first ever all-Antipodean World Cup final. Their game plan revolved around a dominant forward pack, which laid the foundation with strong scrums and relentless breakdown work.
But Carter has it. On it goes to Nonu. Martin Nonu trying to set it up for Barrettson for the try.
They employed a fast, precise backline that exploited gaps in the defence with sharp passing and powerful runs. Defensive pressure was relentless, forcing mistakes from their opponents, while a well-structured kicking game kept the ball deep in the opposing half. The atmosphere was electric as Beauden Barrett scored a dazzling final try for New Zealand. The All Blacks triumphed 34-17, and as the final whistle blew, history was made. While this is a redemption story about the All Blacks, the World Cup final was a personal redemption story for Dan Carter. DC's performance in the final was otherworldly as he scored 19 points, 2 conversions, 4 penalties and 1 drop goal. Just what the All Blacks expected from the premier attacking 10 in rugby history, according to Clive Woodward, who himself coached one of the greatest 10s of all time in Johnny. It wasn't only Carter's kicking abilities that would shine, but he would make 11 tackles in the game. Rightly awarded man of the match, it was a stunning performance for his 112th and final cap.
Having missed the final in 2011, how special is this for you right now?
I'm pretty grateful to be where I am right here after what happened 4 years ago, to have to sit and watch my teammates play in the final. I was desperate to play that World Cup at home, and I've been working extremely hard the last 4 years, and I'm just so proud of the team.
McCaw became the first captain to lift bill twice, and New Zealand etched their name in the history books as the first back-to-back World Cup champions. Eat that, haters.
And that was to be the most dominant team in the history of the game in the world. And we had to do that by having a style of game that both inspired and invited us to be excited by it.
This golden era was built on the shoulders of giants. Flanker and captain Richie McCaw with his unparalleled work ethic and leadership, and fly half Dan Carter, the conductor of the backline, stand as the only 2 players to be named IRB Player of the Year 3 times. Their names are now synonymous with rugby legend. From the legendary midfield duo Ma Nonu and Conrad Smith to the powerful and relentless try scorer Julian Savea, this team had star quality right across the pitch. But the team was more than just its stars. Future AB captains like Kieran Reid, Sam Cane and a young Beauden Barrett represent the depth of talent that made this All Blacks side so formidable. The enigmatic Sonny Bill Williams brought a touch of flair and unpredictability that kept opponents guessing. Behind the scenes, coaches Sir Graham Henry and his successor Sir Steve Hansen masterminded this dynasty. Their innovative tactics and player management set new standards in professional rugby. Steve Hansen is known as the All Blacks' greatest coach of all time, with an impeccable record of 96 tests, boasting 85 wins, 3 draws and 8 losses. His success rate was 88.5%. As we look back on this golden age, we see more than just a list of victories and accolades. We see a team that redefined what was possible in rugby. We see individuals who became legends. And we see a nation that found its identity reflected in the performances of 15 men on a field. The legacy of this All Blacks era lives on, in the players who continue to wear the black jersey with pride, in the young boys and girls inspired to pick up a rugby ball for the first time, and in the memories of fans who witnessed greatness unfold before their eyes.
Build that. For us, it was about making sure the All Blacks succeed, and no individual was higher than that. It was about the team, whoever you were, no matter your place in the team, you all did your bit. And if you had that, then you've got a culture that's pretty successful, I think.
As always, thanks for watching, and please leave your thoughts on the All Blacks dynasty. And stay tuned for more rugby content here on Clutch Rugby.